What's up, guys? My name is Doofus Mcdooface, and this is the Tier 4 tier list of Legion TD2 units. Without further ado, APS. For me, APS kinda sucks. I'm just gonna come right out with it and say that APS for me isn't that good. Of course, it's great if you have the specific units that go with it, you know, Zeus's, right? APS Zeus's. One time I did like APS Gates. Of course, like Sovereign with APS could be juicy. APS Dread Knight, right? But you can't use APS on just your average units. Um, it's just not that good, right? Like you can't use APS or MPS as damage. Like when you have that one game where you have to use MPS to kill the boss on wave 10, I'm gonna tell you it doesn't go very well, right? If you've been there, MPS is not the best damage in the world, right? Now with certain combos it's good. Maybe even great if you had one of those first units I said. Once you get like the crazy like unstoppable unit or a doppelganger, right? A doppelganger that is APS, battle scars, the double vamp buff, gets out of hand. So I think for that reason, I'm gonna put it right in the middle, right at the B tier. Right? I think it can be amazing. It could be S tier with the right units, and it could be just straight D tier, just don't even pick it. Like, I'd probably pick APS maybe 20% of the time. I can't imagine that I choose to use APS more than 1 out of every 5 times. And it's just because like there's better auras, right? Like if we were really gonna talk about auras, for me, APS would be near the bottom. Still a pretty good unit. Let's actually even check our win rates with it. So if I just go win rate, let's see how far down we have to go until we find the APS here. I mean, as you can tell, it's pretty down here. Oh my goodness, is it this bad? No, there's no way. Okay, we got MPS right here at 46% win rate with 60 games played. It's not amazing. And APS is actually my second worst unit. My second worst win rate unit. So clearly me and APS, we don't get along, right? Not to say that it should be a C or D, because it still can be incredible with certain combos. But Butcher, another aura thing, and I'm gonna put it right on A because it's definitely for me better than APS, right? APS only certain units you can use for the aura. I feel like Butcher, you could probably get away with almost any unit. Almost any unit. That actually just made me think I've seen some butchered Azerias, and that was one of the units that I do not think you can get away with putting on the butcher. Right? There are certain units that you should probably not butcher. But just for clarification, both of these auras, you can double buff them with like APS, MPS, and then butcher and head chef, right? So you can get the double buff of the base up the base and then also the upgrade. Just want to say that if you guys didn't know that already. But yeah, butcher and head chef. I mean, head chef's the best unit in the game, wave 9, right? You are almost never leaking wave 9 to ascend if you get a head chef. So whenever you have like that nightmare and then you get the head chef on 9, like you just win the game. And I just feel like Butcher, there's just certain combos. Of course, like Nightmare. Of course, like Holy Avenger, Sovereign. If you're really good, Phoenix. The Fire Lord into the Phoenix upgrade, if you don't know the unit I'm talking about. I feel like Butcher just has way more. I lost an absolute epic to Hellgates on Butcher. I didn't think that Gates and Butcher would go so well, and it won them the game. It straight up won them the game. So for me, Butcher is very high. I don't quite think it's S tier because you still kind of need units, right? Like probably 90% of the units in the game will work well with Butcher. Oh yeah, look at how high it is. Okay. So we got 52.4%. Okay, so it's a little bit better than average for me. A little bit better than average for me. 52% and 53%. So I like it at the A. It's just my comfort zone. Still want to like use the right units on it. But even if you're like starting like cats, you know, or I've seen Adams, right? I have seen Adams. If it gives you that early game lead, then it's necessary. It's great. Yeah, I like Butcher. Feel good about the A. On to the next. Crab Warlock. Now this is gonna be crazy, guys. I need you guys to just calm down. I know you guys are gonna run straight to the comments and say Crab Warlock S tier. I know. I'm gonna break some hearts. I'm gonna put Crab Warlock in the B tier. And I know you're probably gonna be upset. Doofus, you've posted like 10, 15 Crab Warlock videos since the units come out. How could you put it in the B tier? The unit is awesome in the right circumstances, right? Once you're overbuilding, right? Or if you have that star collar, right? Or if you have like the correct aura, I guess you could APS. I don't think I've APS the Crab Warlocks yet. Maybe I have. But if you have the right aura, like the Magician Legion spell, right? The right aura can be really good. But the problem is there's so many 140 gold units. There's so many of these outside of the aura units. It might be like one of the only ones, actually, outside of Archer. Yeah, all of these units, with the exception of an Archer, and I guess a Casket, right? You just need a little cheap unit. You could just start wave 1. If you start Crab Warlock wave 1, it's a very tough open. It's very tough to open Crab Warlock. So like you take this unit, and I think I know how to play it the best. Is you really don't place it until like after 5, after 6, maybe even not until 9, and then the mid game you're just spamming Crab Warlocks. Maybe you have a couple of Crabomancers, right? So in the right circumstances, the unit is amazing. It's awesome. It's probably the coolest unit I've ever played. But it's weak early, man. It really is weak early. I don't know how many games I've gotten punished or my teammates have gotten punished because they try starting Crab Warlock or adding it too early. You literally have to be overbuilt in the early game. Like pre-wave 10, you have to be 50, 60, 75 over with Crab Warlock to guarantee that you don't leak bad, right? You get brooded and you're on value with Crab Warlock, you're leaking bad. 60, 70, 80%. It's rough. It's rough. I still think it's a good unit. I still love playing it. I think my pick rate is probably getting pretty high with it, to be honest. Where's my win rate with it? Oh my goodness, is the win rate really that bad? But just to explain, Crab Warlock, I'm 5 and 6 when I open it, right? Probably 3 of those wins were when it first came out. So Crab Warlock's at 56%. Let's go here. And right there. So we got Crab Warlock at 56%. So it's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. I've been playing it a lot, right? But I think overall B is good because not a lot of people are like knowing how to play it. Like I feel like the skill cap is pretty high for Crab Warlock, right? As with any real spawn unit, like you do need to like sort of know how to play it. And look at how low Crabomancer is. Crabomancer down at 52%. 52% for Crabomancer. And I think that also would be why it's in B, is that it really feels like the Crab Warlock is better than Crabomancer, right? Like I see like some teammates like upgrade Crabomancers and then we lose the game. And I'm like, oh, you should have just like stayed with Crab Warlocks. Nobody knows that, right? It sort of comes with time. But yeah. Keep building Crab Warlocks. Just learn how to play them. You do have to work around them, like a Sakura, like a Big Wig. Just warning. Casket, S tier, just right off the bat. I know the high elo are gonna love me for this. Casket has to be S tier just because of the opening. Like it's literally one of those openings that you should never ever leak until wave 5. All right, like pretty much opponents have one wave to leak you in the early game. like waves 1 through 5, 5 is the first wave. Then yeah, you could leak 6. So 5 or 6, if you have a Pilgrim, right, or a Sea Dragon, or like any type of like good single target damage, like you're just not leaking. I mean, it's one of the easiest 7 worker starts in the game. You've got seedlings. I guess if you're like a real chicken, you could go like aqua. But like you literally just need like a tier 1 so you don't leak the snail on 1 or 2. You could pretty much just go 7 workers and not leak 3, even if they lizard snail. And then you just need the second upgrade, right? The okay, Iron Maiden is the main one. Curse Casket is the first one. Cage of Pain. You just need the Cage of Pain on wave 4, and you're chilling, right? 90% of the time. Like even to a Hermit, I think you're chilling. And then wave 5 could be bad, right? Because it is AoE, doesn't do the best damage. But the start is just insane, right? Seedlings, like I said, I mean, Seedling of course is the best, right? If you have Casket Seedling, people just straight get boners in my chat. They just can't believe, oh my god, you got the nuts, right? And 7 and 8 is like a struggle wave for so many people, right? Wave 7, Iron Maiden, you could probably hold like 200, 300 under. Seriously, I would not be surprised if you could hold like a Mole Hermit with Iron Maiden 200, 300 under. I'd like to see it. Now, of course, wave 8, it's good as long as you can get it onto the wave. This is where like when opponents send a lot of tanks, right, it can make the unit a little more difficult, but it's still just amazing. Also, you're 14. Wave 14, one of the highest death rate waves in the whole game. What I'm saying by that is like a lot of games end on 14 because those creeps just like kill you, and it's a lot of people are missing that pierce slash impact arcane for 14, and this is perfect for that wave, right? So if you're going gates and you've got casket, or you're going Sakuras and you've got casket, or you've got Poda and you've got casket, right? This really is gonna save your ass. I mean, I almost don't even need to check the win rate. Like I want to see opening because I've been starting it a lot more, and I feel as though I've played it really well. All right, it's 50%. I'm trying to learn how to play it better. 51.4%. Okay, like I said, I'm now just learning how good of a unit it is. Right? I'm just now learning. Okay, Cage of Pain 52.9. Iron Maiden. Wow, my Iron Maiden is it this slow? Or am I just dumb? Iron Maiden 48%. Interesting. So when I upgrade to Iron Maiden, my win rate goes down. In any case, it's a really good unit. I'm really enjoying opening it recently. Yeah, I honestly was playing it too many times to where I was like, this video is going to get boring, right? Bam. Pilgrim, S tier. This will be interesting to see what you guys think. But like if we're talking weak waves in the game, wave 5. Right? Wave 5 for AoE, right? Casket, Flower, Archer. There's a lot of weak things on wave 5. And that unit right there, the Desert Pilgrim, will save your ass every time. I don't know how many times that I knew I was going to leak really, really bad wave 5. And I re-roll a Pilgrim, and I'm like, wow, that just saved my butt. And then people will type in the all chat like, wow, nice Pilgrim. And I'm thinking, wow, I got really lucky. I was screwed here. I was gonna leak really bad here if I did not re-roll that Pilgrim. Chieftain Cheese. You can just spam this for healing. Like if you're doing like Sea Dragons or anything, you're just trying to heal at gates. I know I've tried. They nerfed it a bit. But if you have like a bunch of Pilgrims and you have gates, they're healing the gates a little bit so that the gates get a couple more spawns out. But yeah, Chieftain Cheese we know is still amazing. Like yes, it's been nerfed over time, but it's still so fun to do. So I love Pilgrim. And that wave 5 is just crazy. There's not much to say. Like Pilgrim is just one of those units. If you've watched my channel, you know I love my Chieftain Cheese, whether it's classic. I've done it in ranked as well. And if you're really, really good, having those perfect Pilgrim splits is just insane. You know, tanking the boss wave 5. If you can have it tank a couple of creeps on wave 6 and still live, and then the 7, the 8, and it just keeps healing itself alive. Oh my goodness, I can't even talk about it. I can't even talk about it. And where are we at on the win rate? This one could be a low one because I'm going to have so many games played with it. Holy moly. Every time I do this, oh my god, yeah, I have almost 100 games played with it. 1-4 when I start with it. 44% win rate. And it's because it's me. It's Doofus Mcdooface. I want to do Chieftain Cheese. I want to do the fun builds, right? But I don't think that takes away from how good of a unit it is. Pilgrim, for me, S tier. Elite Archer, S tier. I know like I'm coming out hot with these S tiers, and I apologize. Like these are just units I want to play, right? Like, of course I want to play Crab Warlock, but it's also because I know you guys are gonna love the content, and it's hilarious to say that I have crabs. But like these units I feel way more comfortable with, right? Like the Pilgrim, 90% of rolls that you don't have that saving grace 5 or 6, this dude's gonna help you out. And then Archer and Casket are they're just strong early, right? These are just strong early units. So yeah, Archer, you have to know how to split with an Archer. You have to know how to split with an Archer. You have to know how to split with an Archer, right? But there's so many combos, especially since they made Archer Leviathan a thing. Like Flying Trinity is just insane. Then you get Sork, and it's gonna be tough to lose the game, right? There's a game, it's probably a year ago now. I don't know if it'd be as good, but me and Toho lost a game where we went for a huge wave 18 send. It was to either win or lose the game, and Toho's guy held with literally like 5, well, only one of them was Sorked, but like 5 Trinity Archers around double Leviathans. So it was just all AoE, all pierce damage on wave 18, right? The impact magic, or I guess it's not impact, sorry. It's like the magic wave, right? I guess you could be impact, but pierce sucks on 18. Okay, and it shredded. It shredded. Like flying archers killed 18. We were dumbstruck. It was wild. Yeah, I mean I love Archer. I mean, once again, these units that I just love, there's not much to talk about. And for once, one of my S tier units is very high. Surprise, surprise, one of my S tier units is pretty high. 54% opening win rate, 60% overall. Quite solid, quite solid. Yeah, and also like the shots are like ability damage, right? I mean the unit is awesome as long as you know how to split, right? The unit is awesome as long as you know how to split. 54.5 though when I upgrade. Interesting. Wouldn't have thought that. Is there anything else to say with Archer other than you need to know how to split and not kill the Archer? I think that's it. I've realized lately that there are amazing tanks on wave 15. Wave 15, I've been seeing a lot of people holding. Like I'll see like 2 Trinity Archers versus the boss, the big quadrupus boss. And I'm like, oh, this guy's leaking. And these dudes take forever to die. And they're actually like doing some damage to the boss. And I'm like, really? Trinity Archers are killing this boss? Just 2 of them? It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. But it is what it is. Eternal Wander. Dude, I'm struggling to see if I'm gonna have any like C or D tier units. I need to think about this one. Wanderer. It's a great delay unit. It's okay damage. Maybe let's put a B tier for a second. Let's just walk through B tier and just sort of see how we feel. Right? I do not like how they added the like 3 or 5 second. This one's almost one I want to look up real quick. Right? This one's one I almost want to look up. What I'm saying is it used to come up way faster. The Samurai Soul, when it would die, it would almost reappear like, I don't want to say instantly. It's been a long time since then. Okay, it's 1.5 seconds. I'm acting like it's forever. But like 1.5 seconds is a lot. You need a unit behind it. And so I really feel like that 1.5 second pulled it down a tier or 2 even. Yeah, once again, just so you guys know what I'm talking about. Samurai Soul, the Impact Fortified Tank, You throw it in the split most of the time. It dies. And then it'll come back to life 1.5 seconds later. But if you don't have other units there to wait that 1.5 seconds, then it becomes a DPS samurai, right? A DPS wander, right? It dies, and then the units rotate over to your main side, and then the samurai comes running over doing damage, and it's your last unit to die. So I really don't like that 1.5 second, just like they did with eggs. How it takes a second or two for the hydrolinks to pop up. Yeah, for me, I don't know. I really don't like samurai. Like, I'm almost walking myself into C tier. Because I don't think I play it that much. I don't think I enjoy the samurai. This is a unit I kind of hope is like super low for me. Samurai Soul 52%. That is the upgrade. And Eternal Water 50%. Undefeated when I opened it. 1-0. I don't know. I'm sorry if you guys disagree with me on this one. Please let me know why. Like, yeah, it's good delay if you have the right stuff in your split. But the damage, it's just not there. Like some of these units, I think of like Wave 9 Saviors, right? Like the upgrades. Death Cap, Wave 9 Savior. Hardened Golem on Wave 9, Savior. You know, a Lost Pilgrim, a Head Chef, right? I'm just talking like these fortified or magic units, right? Or King Claw. And I don't think like just having a Samurai Soul on 9 does what it should compared to these other units. I don't see it. I don't see it. So for me, Samurai is B or C tier. And for now, I'm gonna keep it in the C tier. I'm just not sold. Grarl, whoa. Grarl I'm gonna put in A. Grarl I'm gonna put in A. Grarl as a unit is like one of the worst units in the entire game, but the upgrades are insane, right? Like you can't say that the upgrades aren't insane. They just are, right? The King Claw and Ocean Templar are two of the best units in the game, right? Specifically the Ocean Templar, right? Ocean Templar would be like S+ tier, right? I mean, the amount of things you can put on an Ocean Templar is insane. Big tanks, damage units. I guess you could even put like Sea Dragons on there. I used to do that. Put like life binders and stuff on there so it keeps healing as they throw away their life for heals. This would definitely be S tier if Grarl wasn't so terrible. Like, just because you can sell it for 90% of its value does not dispel that its damage is just nothing. Right? There's a huge joke that's been going on ever since I've played this game. And it's Grarl and to keep Grarl. Right? So you almost never want to have Grarl for too many waves. Like maybe a wave 6 if you open with it. But you never just want to have just basic Grarls just chilling out there. They suck. They're awful. Like, you need to sell them for an upgrade. Sell them so you can get a T6. Or upgrade them to either King Claw or Ocean Templar. Right? Just keeping Grarl, it's got to be one of the worst units in the game. Right? Like, you could probably leak 1,000 over. I'm not even lying. I almost would like to sandbox. I think you could leak 1,000 over on like a wave 12 or something if you just had Grarls. I think you could leak 1,000 over with Grarls to like a pack leader. I really think so. I think it's possible. Like the unit, it has to be. Let me know if you've ever checked the stats. It has to be like the lowest damage, health. It's terrible. But the upgrades are insane, and at least you can sell it for 90%. So we're still going to keep in the A tier. Let's see. When I open with Grarl, not very good. I'm not a big T6er. Yeah, only 3 and 3. 54% with Grarl. But let's see what we got with the upgrades. And watch the upgrades be less. Yeah, watch the upgrades be less. Ocean Templar 52%, so about the same. King Claw 50.8. But way more games. I was gonna say way more games, but that'd be incorrect because Grarl is the lower upgrade. But yeah, I mean, I still think the upgrades are way better. I guess the reason that Grarl is probably a little bit better is because I've sold those Grarls just for T6s as opposed to using Ocean Templars or King Claws. Still, A tier. If you guys think it should have been S tier, I'm sorry, but just because Grarl is so bad. Oh man, I really want to put Flower in A tier, but I know if I don't put it in S tier, you guys are gonna be like just attacking me. It's amazing. It's an amazing start. It's just like Casket. Maybe I should. Yeah, let's put in the S tier. It's an S tier unit. I know there's so many S tiers, but like I think the T4 is just like the king of the S tiers. Right? I think T4s is where you can like really start a game and get like some momentum going. Like yeah, of course T5s you can get more momentum with the right combos. But I think T4s might even be the better tier, to be honest. But yeah, Flower, AoE unit. I think AoE units are very, very strong because of how good they are at the start of the game. Also, I always go back to Wave 9. It's a great unit, Wave 9. You do need some saving grace on 5 if you get hermited, as well as 6. Watch out for the resend 6. But Wave 12, Wave 16, Wave 9, these units are just so damn good there. Like Flowers on 16 is a reason you can't send certain people. You see that they have Flowers, and although you know you want to send 16, it's just so hard. It's so hard to send into death caps on 16. And so few units are like that, where like you literally cannot send because they have that, right? Like Caskets and Archer, you could still try 14, but you have to really push to try death caps if they have 3 or 4 on 16. Like it's tough. And the combos with Flowers is great. You know, you got like Flower Mask, Flower Aqua. These are very well-known combos. It's just a good unit. It's just simply a good unit. It's only 50% for me. Way better when I started. Yeah, that would make a ton of sense. Like if you're starting it, way better, right? Clearly, me just adding random flowers hasn't been a great idea. I really don't know where the death cap is. All right, guys, I finally found the death cap. Holy moly. Right here, 47%. I suck with death cap. That's wild. And once again, I just because I've had bad personal experiences with the unit or bad win rate, I don't think that takes away from it still being an S tier unit. Of course, let me know your thoughts, but I still like it as an S tier just because it's just an amazing start. It just really is an amazing start. Mudman. I really want to put Mudman at B or C. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. It could also be an A. I feel like Mudman for me is B. I feel like it's a B unit. And I bet you I'm going to put it in the B, and we're going to look at the win rate, and it's going to be quite high. The Harden ability is a saving grace on so many waves. If you correctly harden wave 17, wave 19, wave 9, wave 5, wave 7, right? Let's say you get a Mimic and you harden a Mudman. Wave 12, right? And if you have the right units to cover the following wave, that following 13 or that following 6, then you have no fear hardening. Okay, I'm going A. I'm going A. I'm sorry. I've got to give the Mudman more respect. The harden ability is amazing. It really is an amazing. It's the same thing where I just said with Flower, how like it's almost hard to send until people have hardened, right? Like sometimes you can play the mind games where you save Mythium the entire time until your opponents have hardened. So then the next wave you send, those Mudmans are dehardened. The harden gives you what, 15% damage reduction or something like that. And then the next wave it has minus 15% damage reduction. So it just makes it like more tanky, right? When you harden correctly, it's tanky. When you're dehardened, it's less tanky, right? By a lot. So if you guess the hardens correctly, it's just amazing. And it's a decent tank. Like it is a good tank. It's just like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I get the hardens wrong so often. Golem, 49%. Whoa, what the heck? That's wild. Mudman is 55.8% win rate for me. Mudman is 55.8% win rate for me. And Golem is at 49%? A 6%, 6 to 7% difference is nuts. That's almost like Crab Warlock. Like, I guess like Crab Warlock and Mudman are almost the same thing. Wow, that's crazy. I think that might be my biggest like standard deviation of units. Holy smokes. All right, well that might be something I can use going forward in my games. Maybe I'm better off with just spamming hardened Mudmans than upgrading to Golems. That's an interesting thing. Maybe something for you guys to take from that, or to even let me know why you think that is. But yeah, I do like it in A tier, especially now that I see Mudman is that high. That's a crazy differential though. But overall, what did you guys think of my tier list here? Do you feel like my units are in a good place or a bad place? I think one thing that's pretty clear that I did is I put my AoE units in the S tier. I put my auras in the A tier. And my more combo dependent units in the B tier. And then just Wander at the C tier. Because you know what? I don't like Wander. It's kind of lame. Take away the 1.5 second delay and I'll like it again. But I'm Doofus Mcdooface. I hope you enjoyed my tier 4 tier list of Legion TD2 units. Please drop a like, and I'll see you guys for tier 5 and tier 6 coming soon.